Welcome back to Scott's Wiki Sports. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with my dad today, and we are doing our college football and NFL predictions for this weekend. So let's get into those right now. First game out, the non-top 25 game of the week on Scott's Wiki Sports this week, Kentucky and South Carolina. Give me Kentucky at home to get it done against South Carolina.
You know, Kentucky, I think, would win either way. But when you have a fan like Terry Jewell rooting in your corner, you can't lose. Kentucky beat South Carolina by a touchdown.
Next up, Louisiana and App State tonight on ESPN. I'm going to go with App State here. I think App State's the better team here, so I'm going to go with App State at home over Louisiana.
I'm actually going to go the other way. I'm going to take Louisiana over App State in a little bit of an upset, but I think it's going to be a close game.
Next up, Ohio State and Michigan State tomorrow. No sign of Ryan Day tomorrow for Ohio State. That's not going to matter. Give me Ohio State on the road against Michigan State.
I really want to pick Michigan State here. I want to see Ohio State lose. I think it's unfair. They only have to play like 7 games and they can get into the college playoff. But with that said, I think Ohio State will win. I think Michigan State had their big win last week against Northwestern. They'll come down and lose to Ohio State.
Next up, Texas A&M and Auburn tomorrow. Give me Jimbo Fisher and Texas A&M to keep their slim college playoff hopes alive with a win over Auburn.
This is more of a wishful pick than with my head. I'm going to take Auburn in the upset over Texas A&M by a field goal.
Next up, Oklahoma State and TCU. Give me Oklahoma State on the road to get it done against TCU.
I agree. I don't think either team is great. Oklahoma State has proven that they're not a great team, but I think they will get it done against TCU.
Next up, Western Carolina and North Carolina. North Carolina coming off that tough loss last week to Notre Dame, but I'll take North Carolina to get it done at home against Western Carolina.
Any school with the word Western in front of it is probably not very good, and that's true in this case. North Carolina gets a win.
Next up, Rice and Marshall. I'm going to take Marshall at home over Rice.
I can't believe Marshall's still undefeated, I guess just because they play a weak schedule. But Marshall is better than Rice. Marshall gets a win.
Next up, Syracuse and Notre Dame tomorrow. I will take Notre Dame at home over Syracuse.
I actually think this is one of Notre Dame's best teams. I think in the past, when they've played good opponents, they've fallen. But I think this year they're pretty consistent. Give me Notre Dame.
Next up, Florida and Tennessee. If Florida wins this game, they secure a spot in Atlanta in 2 weeks. I think they'll get the job done here. Give me Florida to win big over Tennessee tomorrow.
Tennessee actually looked pretty good at the beginning of the season, but they've lost, I think, their last 5 in a row. So give me Florida as well.
Next up, West Virginia and Iowa State. Give me Brock Purdy and Iowa State to get it done at home and secure a spot in the Big 12 championship game with a win over West Virginia.
Iowa State's been one of the good stories in college football this year. Not a lot of people care about the group from Ames, Iowa. They care about Iowa Hawkeyes, but the Cyclones are getting it done, so I'll take Iowa State as well.
Next up, Indiana and Wisconsin. Great start to the season for Indiana, but this is where they'll start losing some games. Give me Wisconsin over Indiana.
I think Indiana's going to make it close, but I agree with Scott. I think Wisconsin at home is going to be just a little better.
Next up, Iowa and Illinois. Give me Iowa to get another win. Got a close one against Nebraska last week, but I think they'll get an easier win this week. Give me Iowa on the road against Illinois.
Sorry, buddy. Is Lovie Smith still their head coach at Illinois?
Yes.
It's not going to matter. Iowa gets the win.
Next up, Tulsa and Navy should be a good game. I'm going to take Tulsa to keep their ranking in the top 25 here with a win over Navy.
Navy's a tough team to play because of their offense, but I think Tulsa's got a very, very good defense. I like Tulsa in this one.
Next up, Stanford and Washington should be a good game. I'll take Washington at home over Stanford.
I agree. I haven't watched much Pac-12 football, but I think Washington's a superior team. Give me the Huskies.
Next up, Oregon and Cal. Oregon coming off that embarrassing loss to Oregon State last week. I think they rebound and bounce back this week. Give me Oregon on the road against Cal.
I agree. I think Oregon's going to play angry this week. They lost to their rival. I think they will get it done against Cal.
Next up, Clemson and Virginia Tech should be no problem here. I'll take Trevor Lawrence and Clemson to get a road win against Virginia Tech.
This is not the same Virginia Tech that was coached under Frank Beamer. They're kind of a mediocre college football team. Clemson's a great team. Clemson wins.
Next up, Alabama and LSU. most years this is a fun game to watch. Usually on in the middle of the year, but unfortunately LSU's not very good this year. I'll take Alabama big over LSU and get revenge for that loss that they gave last year.
I agree with Scott. I think Alabama's going to look for some butt whooping against LSU to get some revenge. I think they really ticked LSU behind the woodshed and beat them pretty bad.
Next up, Miami and Duke should be no problem here. I'll take the Air King and Miami to get a road win against Duke.
I agree. I don't think Miami's a great team, but Duke is a pretty bad team. I'll take Miami.
Next up, Baylor and Oklahoma should be no problem here. I'll take Oklahoma at home against Baylor.
Oklahoma's rebounded after a tough start. Baylor's not a very good team. Give me the Sooners.
Quick question, Dad.
Yeah.
Does a postponement equal a loss usually on the record or no?
No.
Okay. Next up, Washington State and USC. I'll take USC at home against Washington State.
Yeah, USC's got a 3-0 or 4-0 record, but I don't think they're that good. But I still think they'll beat Washington State in this one.
Next up, College Game Day will be there tomorrow morning. Conway, South Carolina should be a great game tomorrow. As Coastal Carolina loses, they were going to play Liberty this week, but the coronavirus bit Liberty this week. So BYU takes advantage of that and comes into town this week to take on Coastal Carolina. Give me BYU to get a road win against Coastal Carolina.
This is actually, I'm going to be watching this game. This will be an interesting one to watch. BYU's felt a little disrespected all year, in large part because they've had a weak schedule, but not because of their scheduling, but because of coronavirus. Finally, they get a top 25 team. I think BYU will be heavily motivated, and they're going to get the win on the road against Coastal Carolina.
Next up, now into the NFL games for the weekend. First game out, New Orleans and Atlanta. I'm going to take Taysom Hill and the Saints to keep that division lead intact here and get a win against the Falcons.
The Saints are now winning because of their defense instead of their offense. They have a really good defense. The Saints get it done, but I think in a lower scoring game, people think.
Next up, the Lions and the Bears. For my buddy Josh from the Sports Fury, who's celebrated a birthday yesterday, diehard Bears fan, I will be taking the Bears at home against the Lions.
I actually think the Lions, sometimes when your head coach gets fired, you rally around the assistant coach. I think the Lions are going to do that and upset the Bears on the road.
Next up, the Browns and the Titans should be a good game here. I'll take Ryan Tannehill and the Titans to get a home win against the Browns.
I think the Browns have feasted off of a really easy schedule. I think they're finally going to run into a good team, and the Titans are going to give them a pretty good butt whooping.
Next up, the Bengals and the Dolphins. No Joe Burrow, no Joe Mixon this week. Don't know if Tua will go this week, but it won't really matter. Fitzpatrick will do enough. I'll take the Dolphins at home over the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, a nice surprise in the NFL this year has been the Dolphins. They've looked pretty good. They've been very good defensively and not bad on offense. You have no Joe Burrow, so give me the Dolphins.
Next up, Jacksonville and Minnesota. Should be a great game. Minnesota escaped with a 1-point win last week against the Panthers. I will unfortunately have to take the Minnesota Vikings here at home. As much as I'd love to see the Jags get a win here, give the Bucs some breathing room, I don't think it's going to happen here. Give me the Vikings at home against the Jags.
What's the spread this game?
10.
I think the Vikings will win as well, but the Jaguars play everyone close. You know, I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I would take the Jags and the 10 points because they play everybody close. But I think the Vikings will win in a close one.
Next up, the Oakland Raiders and the New York Jets. They just announced today that Josh Jacobs will not play. A lot of these guys will not play this week for Oakland. For Vegas, but it doesn't really matter. I think a high school team could beat the Jets this year. I'll take the Vegas Raiders over the Jets.
I agree. I think the Jets are actually playing for the number one pick. Give me the Raiders.
Next up, the Colts and the Titans. Colts are looking to bounce back after that loss last week to the Titans. And I think they'll do their stat there here. Give me Philip Rivers and the Colts to get a road win against the Texans.
Yes, they lost the Titans last week. I think they're going to lose the Texans this week. I think Texans are actually the hot team. I think the Colts are going to get outscored by the Texans.
Next up, the Rams and the Cardinals. I wish both of these teams could lose this week, but that can't happen. I said earlier in the week they were going to split. Both teams will win at home, so I'm going to stick with that. Give me Kyler Murray and the Cardinals to get a win in Glendale against the Rams.
I think the Rams are the better team. The Cardinals they look good at the beginning of the season, but now they're losing some winnable games. I think the Rams get it done.
Next up, the Giants and the Seahawks. No problems here. Give me Russell Wilson and the Seahawks to get a home win against the Giants.
I agree. The Seattle defense is not playing up to what they've done historically, but doesn't matter against the Giants. Seattle wins.
Next up, the Eagles and the Packers. Give me Aaron Rodgers and the Packers to get a big win at home against the Eagles.
I agree. That NFC East is an embarrassment. Packers are going to win big.
Next up, Patriots and Chargers. Pats coming off a huge win last week against Arizona. Thank you for that, New England. For that, I'm going to pick you guys to win again this week. Give me Cam Newton and the Pats to get a road win against the Chargers.
I think the Chargers are gonna beat the Pats. I think they're better at quarterback with Herbert, and they're playing on the road in San Diego. Give me the Chargers.
Next up, Broncos and Chiefs. What a horrible Sunday night game this is. I'll take the Chiefs at home against the Broncos.
It's a spread on this game.
13.5.
Surprised it's not more. I would actually lay the points and take the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs will beat the Broncos badly. The Broncos have a quarterback this week.
Bortles is off of the COVID list, and I think a couple other people are, so they should have a quarterback this week.
Doesn't matter. The Chiefs are going to beat it bad.
Next up, Washington and Pittsburgh. A lot of people are saying this is probably the worst undefeated team they've seen in the NFL in quite some time. I don't agree with that personally. I'm going to take the Steelers at home against the Washington football team here.
Every time you turn around, the Steelers seem to have an easy game. This is no different. And I think that's why people are criticizing the Steelers. But listen, you got Terry Jewell on your side. You're the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are going to get the win big.
Next up, Buffalo and San Francisco. I'm going to take the Bills on the road to get it done against the Niners and hopefully eliminate the Niners from playoff contention here. I'll take the Bills on the road against the Niners.
I agree with Scott here. I think the Bills are the better team. I do think this game will be close, but I think the Bills will find a way to win.
And we get Tuesday Night Football this week, as it will be Andy Dalton and the Cowboys going into Baltimore to take on the Ravens. Even if Lamar Jackson's not back this week, I think RG3 will do enough. Give me the Ravens at home against the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens benefit from playing a weak opponent this week. Fortunately for them, coming off of the COVID problems, I think the Ravens will win, but it'll be fairly close.
And that'll do it for this episode of Scott's Week in Sports. I'll be back next week with our NFL and college football predictions. And always like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys right back here next week. See you later, guys.
See you guys.